God forbid that we strive to reach the world with the gospel, but then we do nothing to reach the lost right here in our own community. Jesus tells us in Acts chapter 1 and verse 8, "And ye shall be witnesses unto me both in Jerusalem and in all Judea and in Samaria and unto the uttermost part of the earth." Jerusalem represents local evangelism. Judea represents regional evangelism. And Samaria represents cross-cultural evangelism. Uttermost part of the earth, that represents global evangelism or international evangelism. Now please understand what Jesus is saying to us in Acts chapter 1 and verse 8. Jesus is not giving us a multiple choice question. He is not saying, all right, we got Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and the uttermost part of the earth. Now, y'all just choose which one would you like to do. That's not what he's doing. He's not giving us a multiple choice. He's not saying that it's an either-or option. Jesus is saying that we are supposed to be involved in all four kinds of evangelism and all of it simultaneously, right? We're supposed to be involved in local evangelism, regional evangelism, cross-cultural evangelism, and international evangelism all at the same time. We are not to neglect one or the other. We cannot, listen to me, church family, we cannot have a burden for the world and not have a burden for our own community. God forbid that we give dollars, we put our offering in the plate, our faith promise commitment to support missionaries around the world, but then we don't strive to reach souls for Christ right here in our own community. Stark County is our mission field. I want you to think about that this morning. Stark County is our mission field. Stark County has a population of around 325,000 people, give or take, all right? I Googled to get that stat, trying to find the most accurate stat I could find, and maybe it's off by a few thousand, but 325,000 people at least live right here in Stark County. Did you know that right at 200,000 are not affiliated with any church at all? 325,000 people living here in Stark County, and 200,000 of those people are not affiliated. They are not going to church anywhere in our community. Now, folks, that's our Jerusalem. Are you listening to me? That's our Jerusalem right there. 200,000. You don't have to get on a plane and fly halfway across the world to find a mission field. There are people right here in Stark County that need Jesus. 200,000 of them, to be exact. Every believer ought to be a missionary because every unbeliever is a mission field. Right? Missions is really more about people than it is geography. Missions shouldn't just take place in Africa or in Latin America or in Asia. Missions ought to be taking place right here in Stark County. Why is that? Because there's lost people in Stark County. Let me remind you of the words of Jesus in John chapter 4 and verse 35. He said, "Lift up your eyes and look on the fields, for they are white already to harvest." My prayer is that God will open our eyes so that we will see Stark County as our Jerusalem, our immediate mission field right here. Easter is just 3 weeks away. How many of you realize that? All right. Some of you do. Some of you hadn't even looked at the calendar, have you? 3 weeks away is Easter. As you may or may not know, Easter is the number one most likely time for unchurched people to attend church. There is not a more well-attended Sunday in any year than Easter Sunday across America. More people, unchurched, lost people, are more prone if they're going to visit a church, to visit church or to attend church on Easter Sunday. Now, I'm not a rocket scientist, but since Easter is the most likely time for people to attend church, and Easter is only 3 weeks away, I think we need to get busy inviting people to attend Canton Baptist this upcoming Easter.